Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. We are going to look at a pre-release setup. Big one that I've noticed that a lot of people are not familiar with, especially with new individuals coming into the game, is pre-releases and sealed draft type environments. So what we have is we have a pre-release kit here. I'm going to kind of go through and explain how I perform my setup for pre-release, and hopefully that'll help you, come up with your own style whenever you go and do a pre-release event. So we have ourselves our Spider-Man pre-release kit here. When you go to your local game store to do the pre-release, they will have these set up. They will hand them out when they're ready to start. You'll get 50 minutes to crack the pack open and take all your cards out. The pack will include several things that we'll go through as we set them up. Okay. So once we open up our pre-release kit, you have your original packaging, which has different components to it, like your 1/1 counters, your little plaques that you can punch out and use. But for the most part, this isn't worth saving. All right, you have your box. When you open it, this is the box that you get. It has a bunch of stuff that's inside of it. So we'll start with the handouts. The pre-release handout comes with a pre-release guide on how to build it. When you conduct a pre-release or a draft, you want to have a 40-card deck built with lands and cards that you drafted out of the set. So it kind of recommends you run 17 lands and kind of gives you a mana curve of how you should have everything work and go from that. You can use this for what you want. I've never really looked at it, but I've done a lot of pre-releases and drafts. You have your card, which is in a pack. This is your pre-release card. I want to save it to look at later, so we're going to set that up there. You got your die. Your die is usually a spin down, and it has the logo for the most current set that you are drafting. And then it has kind of a little divider. You can use this to, split up your cards, do whatever you want to do with it. And then it comes with 6 play boosters to create your deck out of. So what you do, or at least what I do when I do my draft, is I go one pack at a time, and I'm going to sort them out by color just so I can get an idea of what the quantity of colors I have are to help me determine. Because, you can get a bomb, but if you have like 3 white cards and your bomb's in white, there's no point in playing white. So I usually like to split it by going like red, white, blue, black, green, and multicolor, just so I can kind of, get an idea of how many cards I have in each color scheme. So we'll set it up like this. Get your lands and your single color. This is just kind of a quick way so you're not overstressing it. You got your lands. This is my rare. I like to keep my rares separate just so I can, look at them as a whole. But then you got your tokens and your lands. But I like to kind of do it this way so I can see how big the stacks are. As of right now, I've got 1 green card, 3 black, so I'm leaning heavier towards black right now. But you can, like I said, just go down the lists and just kind of sort your cards. You don't really have to look at them, because if you find a bomb that's absolutely amazing to play, but you only have one of that color identity, you can't really build a deck around it. So I do this so I can figure out what the most cards I have are, and then build around those colors. So we just continue to sort through the colors. You can read them if you want, but in my opinion, it just takes more time to sit here and read every single card as you're trying to go through. If you do any type of research beforehand, you'll kind of know what the primary cards are and the colors you're trying to go for. So if you just do like what I do and set it up like this, it allows you to get through your packs, figure out what your color scheme is, and go from there. So for example, I got black, red. I got a land that taps for black, red, and blue. And then I got a white and a blue card. So if I wanted to build around the rares, I'm kind of all over the place as of right now. So I just want to keep sorting my cards and figuring out what I have the most of, because right now I have a really large stack of black. So you just continue. Like I said, this is just a way to at least see what colors you have the majority of. If you have a larger quantity of a specific color, it allows you an easier opportunity to determine what colors you want to build in without having to sit there and read every single card that you have. And then you get into your last pack. So looking at what I got right now, we're down to our last pack and we're done. So you got everything sorted. I can see that I have a decent amount of black with some red and white and green about the same. I'd say probably my lowest number is blue, where I've got about 7 cards. So you got 7 in blue. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got about 12 in red. So you can use that to figure it out. You can look at your colors. I've got 3 white with a black, 4 if you count the white and the green. So I lean really heavily into the white on my rares to include my pile of rares. So if we look at our pre-release card, it is Iran, Heart of the Spider, which is a white and a red. So I could use that if I wanted. Looking at what my rares do, this one gives +1/+1 counters whenever I attack on target attacking creatures. So it allows me to modulate and build up. And whenever a modular creature deals modified creature deals combat damage, you exile the top card of your library. You may cast that card this turn. So you could use cards that give +1/+1 abilities or stuff like that. So looking at red and white, you got J. Jonah Jameson, which allows you to suspect, giving something menace and can't block, which allows you to get your creatures in. Then you have the Psionic Weaver, which has the web slinging, but also has, whenever it enters, look at the top your opponent's hand and make them pay more for whatever they got. And then you got your other one, which is the Rent is Due. At the beginning of your end step, you may tap 2 untapped creatures and or treasures. And if you do, draw a card, otherwise sacrifice this enchantment. So look at that. We got a lot of white and red. So if we look at our lands, we got 2 of the Vibrant Cities, which allow us to go search for a land. And then we got white, blue, white, green, so we can kind of splash if we want. So looks like we're going to be leaning into the red. So let's see if we got anything for red for modify. Anything that gives card advantage, anything that adds counters. This has menace, which will help you get through, so you can always use that. Haste is always good to get in. You can also discard a card, sacrifice this creature, and draw a card, so that's card manipulation. This has trample, removal, more removal. Give something haste. So you got a lot of really good stuff in red, which will help you remove your opponent's stuff to allow you to get your creatures in to do damage. For white, we have, when this enters, you put a +1/+1 on each of up to 2 counters. That allows you to modify them, which works with our rare. You got the artifacts, which allow you to modify your creature and also give them bonuses. and we got some more removal in white. So we got 2 that give +1/+1 counters. We got Selfless Captain that gives +1/+1 counters. And we got removal. So if we play red-white, we can lean into the +1s and enchantments or artifacts to modify our creatures with the +1s and enchantments. But we can also use all the removal we have to remove our opponent's stuff. You can also play this one, search for an aura or equipment card. It's white. It's a hybrid of white and blue. So if you're not playing blue, you can still use it because it's white. Same thing with this. It has ward 2, and as long as it's modified, it has flying, which gives you evasion and plays into your modify. And you got 2 of those. Then you can look at your artifacts. So looking at the artifacts, doesn't look like we really have any type of equipment except for the spider suit. So best we could do is one of these. But with the amount of removal and everything we have, we're really only looking for about 21 to 23 creatures or spells so that we can use the others for the 17 lands. So if we take that, we remove the colors we're not using, even though we have a lot of black. We could splash for 3, but we're just going to remove these. And we're going to look at what we're doing with the colors that we said we were going to be in. So if we look at those, we have our pre-release card right here, which is our first card. So then we're going to do her, because she'll allow us to deal with our opponent's hand. So that's 2 cards. You're playing with a bunch of spiders. So this will allow you to draw a card whenever a spider you control enters. So that'll give you 3 cards. We can debate about using the Rent is Due, but I'm not a fan of that for this deck. J. Jonah Jameson, that gives us 4 cards. We're talking about these. We want modified creatures, so we'll use these 2 and him. So that gives us 7 cards. We're looking at dealing with our opponent's stuff. So we got 8. 1 evasion. So 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14. And we look at our red. We got room for 9 more, so we can look at our red. You want modified, so you want to do the best you can to have something with modified or removal. So 8 cards left, 7. Hastes 6, 5, fight is 4, so we got enough room for 4. Play the spider suit, we got 3 more spots. So you can do menace, that's good. Card cycle, so we got room for 1 more. Whenever you cast, our stuff is kind of on the low end, so as nice as this is with its trample, it doesn't really help us because we're not casting anything for 4 mana, but we'll play it anyway just to get our number done. So there you go. We now have our 21 cards. So if we remove the rest of these and set them aside, we now have our deck set up for what we want to run, which is our 21 cards. So you got that right there. Now you can look at it and you can see that you're running some white. Usually what most people recommend is count the number of mana pips of each color and then divide it in half. That's kind of good. I've always found the issue is that you don't really get an even number to figure it out. So I tend to look at the number of cards. Right now I see a lot more white, even though there's a lot of white and blue. So if I were to do this with the 17 lands, I would run these 2. So I can search for a land, basic land, and put it on the battlefield. That will put me down to needing 15 more. I would probably run about 8 or 9 white sources. And if I run 8 white sources, I'd probably run 7 red sources or 6 white sources, since I don't have a whole lot. You can also take your dual ones. This one taps for white, this one taps for white. The benefit is you can pay 4 in surveil, so if you want to use them even though, or sorry, there you go. If you want to use them even though they're not in your color scheme, you do have that option. You really only need it to tap for the one, but right there, I got my 21 creatures, plus removal, plus equipments to help modify, and everything else. You don't have to use your pre-release card. It's optional. I've played multiple games where I've never used the pre-release card, and I've only used what was in my deck. So take it for what it's worth, but that is a good way to kind of go quickly through. As you start playing more pre-releases and you get your feeling for it, you are able to create your own way of doing it, and it allows you to be faster at it. But I can usually get my deck set up, determine what I want to run and everything within probably about 20-ish minutes. So it gives me 30 minutes to play test the deck, see how it runs, see what other cards I have, kind of read through the rest of them and see if I want to modify or go a different route with the deck, or maybe see if I have a better setup in another thing. But like I said, over this took me about 10 to 15 minutes, managed to get a deck put together. I don't know how well it would do. It all depends on what your other players at your pre-release got. But this is kind of just a quick introduction to pre-release and how to play and build your game. So if you like this content and would like to see more or see any other type of content of Magic the Gathering or other games, feel free to look at my playlists in my channel. We have different games such as Destiny 2, Pale World, Doom, stuff like that. We also have Magic the Gathering Arena and Magic the Gathering Paper. I also link some channels of people I follow and watch their content. They also have decent pre-release videos and content to help set you up. You have a good day. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video. If you enjoy this content, please feel free to watch my Magic the Gathering playlist as shown on the left side of the screen. If you like this game and want to see more, please look at the right side of the screen and see the channel content creators that are also streaming this content. Please show them some love. Thank you and see you next time.